There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the quarantine stream, the 27th one. I, of course, am Richard Millen, the one. And only. And let us hear the ever lovely, ever beautiful, ever green quarantine stream, shall we?
Life is but a dream in the quarantine stream.
Beautiful. It's called Flowers at the Foot of the Cave. Swinging light bulb above a cracked basement window, a painting depicting the creation of creation, and a makeshift bed. I made up a new name for you that I'll only keep in my head. My head. Look at the jewel resting in the bottom of the wooden cup, or the stack of handwritten sheets explaining the steps of the ritual in rich, deep red, and the names of everyone there exist in my head. My head. Charcoal renderings of saints ripped from a magazine and pinned to the door, dented bits of metal shaped to make a mosaic and pushed into the floor. Quarter-inch thick spray-painted silver ribbons looped like ringlets in the air, and the floating stray white veins from a feather landing on your hair. Here I sit, half childish, with freshly washed clothes strewn over the chair. A tray with orange peels, melon rinds, and empty glasses rests balanced on the table's edge, while I'm reading a map leading to a room more colorful than the womb, where I can overhear things other than gurgling and organs rushing. But still, this will always be in its infancy, because love is where Genesis greets infinity. And for proof, you can look in my eyes, even though I won't confirm or deny how much of this is true. But I trust that will get worked out by you. It's called Milky Skies. For 3 weeks, I've seen the sky as one color stretched over a muted spectrum, and I've heard tiny handbells clang at irregular intervals. Without forethought, I was in a state of unstable concentration, with my sense of decency tested. I stared at celeste-colored veins and remembered how they were made. I was reminded of the worm, thankful to be placed back in the dirt after suffering a 2-inch gash on its side from careless shoveling. The youngest lady stops weeping and waiting and steps into invisibility, her velvet-lined pockets filled with small wreaths of braided blue stems. While embarrassed at how much she once admired her mother's brooches, she now fully blushes at her wish to own an ocean full of stone. Her friends repeatedly requested questions, only furthers her hesitation, so she leaves a small note of explanation. Life is grossly inelegant in its demands that one must impatiently forget, chores performed with red impressions left intact from knots affixed to ankles and wrists as if the sores never existed. Shock of copper curls, cerulean halos in his eyes, considers his environment, and with his shoulders pinned back adjusts his balance and stands straight up in his raft. The one idea that has possessed him so vanishes out from his mind, pierces the sea, then its velocity escapes gravity and reaches away past the sky. But he fears no lack of purpose, or whether this time has been meaningless. He has total devotion to the base truth of his vocation. His ankles give way and he falls back gently, lands on his hands while some water splashes in. He considers those who would deride his actions and thinks, I don't require clothes. I'd rather remain naked for everyone. I felt watched when I first voluntarily gave away confidential information, then tried to explain the layout of San Antonio to a stranger who never knew I'd never been there before. And now, as minutes become limitless, any vows I made always sustained me. I felt watched when my thinking was clean and capable of strict reasoning, and I rode along freshly painted runways, left notes on license plates, brambles, and high chairs. And now, as lassitude disintegrates, any vows I made remain unchanged. I felt watched when my legs were bathed in a heat as persistent and unruly as a bat taunting a seal, repeatedly landing on its shoulder and squealing. And now, as fury impassively fades, any vows I made could never break. I felt watched when I attended 10 drawing classes and attempted to finish a full circle freehand without interference between thought and motion. And now that my hands are patient, any vows I made are everything. Here she flies, and now we know if the promises made more than 10 years ago have been kept. Here she flies with 2 pens, rosary, brass paperweight, earrings, locket, and measurements written on a business card. Here she flies, gums and hair receded, a miniature brace for a baby, wrapped in grayed, hardened plastic. Here she flies, with an oxygen tank bubbling ceaselessly, a UHF channel on the television showing an old western silently. Here she flies, while I stand with tentative confirmation, a glass of thickened water, and 3 empty white boxes. Here she flies with skin like marble over winding staircases and rooms with seafoam-colored walls and intimidating machinery. This is a question we all have to answer at some point in our lives. This is called, Would You Sell the Relics? The general that only cares about tomorrow also expects everyone to echo the same expression. And when the general can no longer see the power of their influence, they try and exert control over any small circumstance under their command. While the brigadier general worries to no one if they need a transfusion. The colonel, who's concerned that not enough people's fingerprints matches theirs, requires a warning on the front page of each report, along with a summary cut together by a subordinate in a matter of minutes, so they don't have to waste any energy generating contradictory thoughts. While the captain enters their coordinates so that their location is known and updated every moment, which leaves the captain free to make discoveries like the wheel or gravity, then sell their findings to the executives or campaign staff of their choice, urged by a strong sense of benevolence, a tribute to charity as a force. And the first lieutenant's unmatched love of history is proven by the pictures taken of their parents with Goebbels in Brazil in the 70s. And the second lieutenant's jealousy shows and grouses to no one, "That's not Goebbels, it's clear it's Martin Bormann." The sergeant major that reset the standards of esprit de corps doesn't know the panic they'll feel a few short years later when they are urged out of the way, or that they'll become stiff with resentment and resolute in their calls for punishment and institute measures to monitor how the company behaves. While the staff sergeant writes on a photo of themselves, "The future points to you," and daydreams about collecting the remaining virginities from the sorority house down the road. And they already have the names, ages, and weights in a frequently updated database. Then the staff sergeant complains about commercials before content. The chief warrant officer who breaks ranks to research the order the alphabet was created in gets rueful about seeing themselves age and attending charity events, funerals, and hospital visits, seeing their face in the mirror more washed out than before, wondering as they write their commencement address who will even be paying attention in the audience. Drinking from puddles, seeing what the sky says, not being able to read handwriting as children. And to the private, it's all an eye roll, and all so boring and shallow. To see another round of legacy shut out by an offhand remark. The private doesn't ask any of the officers where they should start. What's the matter where rebellion is kitsch and trauma is Walmart? The specialist greets the private. They each think the other is a dilettante. And later, the specialist considers, what's the matter where you have 1,000 followers and not a dozen supporters? Would you sell the Relics? This is called passing for white. Collar crime. You've used it before, posting signs pointing to the closest church. He needs an infusion, and the coffee is cold. He stayed up all night to see himself dancing on television. The church is closed to be reopened by the mayor's cousin in construction. The glistening grocery store, the tavern with daily fashion shows. He set up a conference call, and he's trustworthy because he looks like me. Big white man! The hotel with large chunks of missing bricks, the police station next to the building with a sign that reads, a law firm pasted into the window, the truck enforcement officer standing in the oncoming lane with his arms outstretched in ecstasy, overseen by a smiling baby that's somehow able to say, I could smile 12 weeks from conception. I show my hand. I know. I show my hand. Meanwhile, it's 7:05 a.m., 2 cars, 3 spaces apart in the White Castle parking lot. One man each gets out on the left. He's wearing jeans and a flannel shirt and a cowboy hat on the right, a charcoal gray business suit. They walk in a V-shape, meet at the door with a handshake, then heated conversation from the corner's mouth start to bubble and foam. As she's wobbling down the sidewalk, her skin-tight clothes somehow hang off her, and she's watched by a man in a tracksuit holding a cell phone to his ear in silence. 20 feet away, the party crew pulls a U-turn. As she's wobbling down the sidewalk, Lance Romance throws 20s at the guy waving away fruit flies, then shows his pupil why this is the finest fire extinguisher you'll ever find. The party crew spots the car wash, and they get in line. They watch the jets bubble and foam, pretend they're superheroes with unlimited powers to make bubbles and foam. Theranos Industries deployed a cricket history of Portuguese ecosystem according on a settlement for widespread future technology. Retiring her bloodlust and company. Why bubble and foam? Frozen in place. The beer can, hair extensions, pubic hair, bondage wear, eagle eyes, white fumes, flying fingers, tops and bottoms, middling kingdom. Gamblers rejoice. I'm in a flood zone. Watch them bubble and foam. Where form follows steam, bourbon follows cream, bubble and foam over the safety warning. The crew delights. Set one's sweat glands reeling with a shark tooth covered in pudding. The owner urges everyone to look out the window at the condo, tow truck, victim, car, night, uniform, camera, newspaper, bank, park, car, yard, new restaurant, as if he's got some psychic powers. He was taught the meaning of versatility, respect for the law, trust for fistfights, and an arid sense of humor that snorts debris when under the advisement of enforced idleness. And in some ways, this could be considered the opposite of what I just read. This is called Allison, where the blue sea and icebergs are. She's ice cream, and there she's down the hall. She uses words like everything and all. I can hear her, but I can't make out her features. I know she spends her weekends in a cement cinema making notes. The girl next to her tries to see what she wrote. Allison wonders why the guy in the elevator keeps glancing at her and why the weather keeps jumping between rain and sun every 30 minutes. She keeps saying, quit asking me questions. I'm the one that's innocent, as people assume she's joking. Allison wonders, what are the windows thinking on a day where there's a white line down the center of the sky? Her mind cuts back to the guy on the elevator with a quick, look at me and look at you, we're equals. Allison wonders if she could keep hiding while knowing that they're following me. Allison writes, what started as hopes are now observations, mostly about nature, and being young stops being fascinating once it's done. Allison looks down at her bowl of spinach and her eyes focus down on the details of one leaf, and she quietly speaks. An atheist sees this and can only think of the mud it grows from. Allison writes, we extend grace out of our own sense of grace and smiles because she's not sure if that's something of her own or something she's half remembering from 2 or 3 incarnations ago. Allison considers why her back and hands are so slippery when she's invisible, and then tells her sister, "My tongue is a graffiti sponge. I wonder if I'll have to make love in front of a judge." Allison considers that she's a character who looks and acts exactly like her, then draws a bath with the lights off. Allison invites her guests to walk barefoot while cherries and red confetti float out of her phone. Allison considers emptying cash registers if the security cameras lose power. What she mostly wants are completely natural segues with no artificial blends. So with that, make thoughts your aim or nerve blaming when all meet with you at your beginnings, but make allowances for their worn out tools and make dreams a trap for fools after they are gone. Let's see if we cleared out the room with that one. You bet we did. Good. Good. And if you didn't like that, you really won't like this. This is, of course, Conspiracy of Silence. I love it. I love it. Good. Good. All right, let's do this shit. Good fucking around. We walk by each other on the street. You do not speak. I can see you have no ambition. You can see I have no standards. I do not speak. We are equals. We are parallel. I've seen you in the water. You've seen me dream. We never eat and I never sleep. Turn your head, bend your neck. Tiny flower pressed to your chest. We walk by each other on the street, never met, but there's still a blink of recognition. We enter the plane, we're flying over England, viewing from behind the wings, seeing St. George's Cross spread over the aisles to the carriage of the Queen. It's a conspiracy? 35mm slow-motion shot of Bernini's St. Longinus. Who wrapped it round and hung the wires that had been laid at the feet of the Empire? Ever picked up that call? Ever read those books in the basement? We walk by each other on the street. We don't know each other and we don't speak. I roll my eyes and you repeat the conversation from a passing taxi. It's a conspiracy. Blue, green, we are water, etching lines and rocks, running diagonal patterns on the face of the clock, blurring the note on the windscreen. A pristine, steady stream ore drops from the sky, echoing to your mouth. And you need to ask, wondering like your feet are on fire, and these are your first steps in the bath, a murmur, a moan. And you need to ask, ever feel the fog touch your curled hair in the everlasting afternoon? All my dreams, all my dreams. All my dreams are in blue and green. The herring is red. I sleep on a purple bed with fresh white sheets. It's a conspiracy with a blink of complicity. I can slip right in and inside improvisation. No, a pantomime playing at the Museum of the Mind. It's easy, it's instant, it's open if you want it, and I want in. Does it diverge from memory? It's a conspiracy. Did the blue dog climb your stairs? What kind of candy was it? And when did you take it? It's a conspiracy. Like the lilting willow, we walk from window to window. We don't know each other. The tempered glass is salt water in our hands. And I think I need to give thanks. I think I see the lantern that you're holding out of the ground and more like the weeping wall curled into a ball and newly resolved. It damn sure ain't a pantomime. It's a mystery. It's a conspiracy. Ever swing on the gutter like a vine? Ever fly over the jungle in a silver plane and see it wet with rain? We walk by each other on the street. You see me. I don't know you. We don't speak. There's an open hand above your head, but it's an optical illusion from the clouds without sound. It's your secret to keep. It's a conspiracy. Was that you on the balcony? What did he say? The painting there. Did you find it confusing? Think it lacks meaning? But look right to left, not centered down. It's all one scene. Do you see it now? It's a conspiracy. Yes, you heard me and made me admit your moment, your Pyrrhic victory. Can I have this dance? It's a conspiracy. We walk by each other on the street. We see each other, but we don't speak. Your fingernails are blue. Your lipstick is green. The leather on your boots is frayed at the seams. And I know that in your dreams you're still 15 with a stolen cigarette you nicked from the vending machine. The lung branches are soaked and your bubble perm is fast falling. And wouldn't it be funny if your interior life from now on is just this moment endlessly repeating, same photograph on the wall mistaken for a mirror, and you can identify, you can empathize, but you can't know what on earth We see each other on the street. Duke Ellington, East St. Louis plays the theme, cast harp. Sterling Silver Symphony. We don't know each other. You start to speak, but it's drowned out by the man with the loudspeakers and papers proselytizing his religious beliefs. It's like we're curators, caretakers for something we never saw, never knew, but understand purely on instinct and instant assimilation, empathy, ecstasy, impressions of the senses. We are the examples, and it is ours to not let the charted land that gives us food to eat and water to drink, a place to walk and live, vanish in clouds, or become such a stranger that we're only hearing clashing tongues and react with a stance that turns wretched, frozen, and cavalier. We will reach and remain unlabeled, walk free in the community, fly over and under unanimity. We are the examples. We trace the dim signal. We will remain enthralled and observe the entrance and relics and rituals without. And he used to kiss her often on her. When you talk to the clouds, can you? When you talk to yourself, fathers, fathers, mothers, 7 flowers on 7 stars on the chest of the Creator, we realize that what is within and outside of us, what's invisible to the eye and eludes our touch, we understand the light inside the image obscures the image inside the light, the red and blue, blue and green. You never sleep. We see you dream. It's a conspiracy. Someone once said to me that you see a chair as it is, but when you burn the chair, you see the chair in your head did not burn or disappear. Motor oil on a block of ice, a river of fire where a miracle was denied, filtered water poured carefully on top of a block of ice and seeping down the slanted floor slowly toward the recording device, from whom no secrets are hid. I'll believe this one thing even if the rest of the list is lies, until we crystallize straight to heaven. It's a conspiracy, of course. They're sitting in a circle, a celebration among friends, sharing your favorite passages out of a blank book, closed circle, making notations on the pages with a candle wick. The chandelier hangs beautifully, laughter sparkles, and the champagne from the cellar under the cellar is free. Yes, it is a conspiracy. You walked in, I woke up. We were docked outside Oyster Bay on a mutual friend's houseboat. You arranged the table, gave a long look, and said, I'll give you good reason to take away my right to vote. We see each other on the street, eyes looking at the stoplight intently and drinking coffee that smells like crayons. The guy next to me on his iPhone reads, intimations of infidelity were a red herring. Me and the guy selling streetwise laugh at his timing. Must be a counselor, apparently, or a confidence man, or a trial lawyer playing fast and forgetful with the facts, or a city planner changing his mind with a passing glance. We're walking out of Preston, zipping up your leather jacket. When you say you laid nude with your adversary, I ask how it happened. You accepted the invitation, met in the garden, rested your heads on the stone wall that runs the perimeter. Did you pay rapt attention when the nightingale told his fairy tale? Did you ache in the silent seconds of the confession? You see me on the street. I see what's in your hands. Our eyes don't meet. As people walk out of Walgreens, you ask, did you pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you? Do you bless those who curse you? I'll tell you this, it's a conspiracy! The morning mass was busy ignoring any message that wasn't theirs. It's a conspiracy? Was that a sneer? We know. She was standing on the corner in South London under a red umbrella on a sunny day, glass necklace and a gold waist chain. Do you have a title? Yeah, but I can't tell you. Look, can I take what I need? Please. I said to her, she said to me, I'm your sister and you just don't know it. Not a martyr, a seer, not an abandoned spirit. I said to her, is this Don Giovanni? It's a conspiracy? I hailed a limousine. We walk by each other on the street. We've never met and I know what kind of fruit you eat. I have no ambition. You're trying to get my attention by throwing a flag on the feet of the gentleman delivering a block of marbled meat with a business card tucked neatly in the wrapping, 7 numbers in blue ink over the lettering. Did you count the columns around the building? 34 in a perfect circle. Ever been up to the top floor, skip school one morning and take the tour? We walk by each other on the street. You're carrying a painting. We won't speak. I don't sleep. You cannot dream. You walk up to the white door and wait for access. You left a book on your desk. The cover was worn and the binding was torn, but you like the questions that it asks. Razor cuts! How many songs can you sing in the sun? How long is the transmission? 7 flowers on your chest. It's not for lack of trying. It's you walked in an oval. You thought over each permutation of the images meeting. You looked through the stainless steel window and down to the streets, and then you looked at me. It's a question of genealogy. We see each other. We do not speak. The question, they looked at you. You looked at me. It's a conspiracy. How you doing out there? Having fun? Any requests? Hope we're doing okay. Having a slight technical issue, so in a series of broadcasts that really has been a catalog of technical issues. All right. I think we're good. All right, beautiful. All right, this is called I'm Dancing with the Skeleton Key. I'm dancing with the skeleton key pinned under my belt the night after I'd had two simultaneous dreams in ocular split screen, one where a white-tailed fawn galloped to the front door and another where my brother couldn't sleep. I'm dancing with the skeleton key tied on a twine cord around my neck, remembering when my sister was locked in a minivan and stranded in a parking lot outside of Austin. She kissed the windows and ate the tape in the cassette deck. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in my unopened mouth, tucked behind my wisdom teeth and obscured by my tongue. I have memories that my sister still won't believe, and I miss the 20th century. It could have been done so much fucking better. I'm dancing with the skeleton key scotch taped to my arm. When I was in school, the vice principal gave himself a heart condition trying to figure out who had stolen from the convenience store, then boasted about it on the blackboard. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in the grotto of a dilapidated Catholic church, where the priest once confessed to me that after each funeral he performed, the only way he could raise his spirits was by making uneasy music with the organist. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in an alley while bells chime at midnight near the railroad, and kids with no curfew dodge between dashing headlights on their way to play hide and seek in the park. I'm dancing with the skeleton key laid on the floor of a garage while my brother draws out diagrams on poster boards, connecting lines from consequences of thoughts to isolated islands of thinking divided by unintended regression of actions. I'm dancing with the skeleton key while I'm safe at home, looking at sealed bags of clothes that I stopped wearing years ago while I was running for mayor on an unconfirmed platform of leaking information about the governor. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in an adjacent office because the evidence that my brother uncovered just got delivered to the lawyer, and he predicts it will make the judge jump and remove any condemnation from his mouth. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in a strip mall that used to be a swimming pool, and before that a man-made hill that covered demilitarized waste trucked over from a Floridian base, and it will still take 100,000 years before any of it reaches its half-life. I'm dancing with the skeleton key clasped tightly in my hand as I watch my sister in the mirror speak sentences with only one word and plant orchids next to power lines in the backyard. Then she dots the driveway with empty jars to accurately measure the rainfall. I'm dancing with the skeleton key in my pocket, moving loosely with me. My brother used to cry bitterly to our parents every time he got a ticket, refuting each offense, denying that he did any of it. I'm dancing with the skeleton key, sliding uncomfortably in my shoe, but the nuisance helps give me the presence of mind to always hold up what I was taught, that when the rent is due, it's better to be full and well slept than to just hand over a blank check. I'm dancing with the skeleton key pressed into a book, watching leaves in the wind, and a novelist at a press conference performing fake sign language, hoping it will get him the attention that he wants for trying to revive the printed word. This is called the Vatican Vaults. Shelves lined with caskets, ripe fruit piled in baskets. Sugar cubes and teacups rattle as saucers are dragged across tablecloths. Outside, a crowd sits murmuring. A harmonium coughs discordantly off the spokes of a bicycle wheel, and snakeskin is carefully wrapped around palms. Two men each wear a veil, one off mauve, the other pink lady red. Gravel sits at the bottom of stained glass vials, and mink pelts are smoothed out over tiles. Three elderly spinsters raise their voices in praise, their weathered hands shaking at the sky. Gold medals tied around their waists reflect the sun directly into children's eyes. Four blind beggars fool the crowd into believing they're brothers who compete by tying knots in rope faster than any comers, the act only ending at dusk when they split their spoils. Stars roll around back and forth from end to end. Clouds erase them away when each new day begins. It's called Renaissance. Celebrate the Silver Age, the wonderful dawn, the dust from space, the transparent page, the grasp of discipline, possibilities unbound by definition, the reach of purposeful disassociation. The Silver Age, the cyclical start, the anti-doom, antidote to negation, and cynicism cloaked as intelligence, and laziness stealing from experience. The Silver Age, wisdom without citing a reference, ideation from the singular source, the interior physics married to open perception, divorced from pre-existing belief systems. Celebrate the Silver Age, the transfiguration of time made clear in the present, the gift of interdependent contexts, and the spirit of enthusiastic creation, leaning on the curve and leaving a set of fingerprints superimposed, adding another angle to the environment. And we will also do 2 Franciscan Nuns. Chewing mint leaves while crossing the Calumet River, the paper mill's exhaust pipes interrupt the vista. Mules waited with surge protectors, hairspray, and cassettes, a riverboat of morphine-addicted ghosts over there on the left. 2 Franciscan nuns wanted to build a hospital, but settled for organizing games of chance. In their hotel rooms, they squeeze out extra acidic orange juice and excommunicate people with unpleasant names from the phone book. 2 Franciscan nuns helped decorate an admiral in the pensioner's home after he'd misplaced his uniform. They blessed his pills, kissed his parakeet, and as he slept, gathered sets of his false teeth to sell at the swap meet. A brain with blood and oxygen is better than a fish who talks. What some people see as skin discoloration is in fact the natural pigmentation when viewed from the inside. Some newspapermen have always known this, and have nothing to hide. Right. I haven't done this one in a few weeks. Not by choice. We were interrupted a couple weeks ago, and then really interrupted the week after that, and then last week just wasn't the time for it. So now is the time. This is, of course, called The Needles. The dock 70 feet in back of me as the sun rotated into the cloudless mid-sky. I saw, "You should keep my letter so that it serves as a reminder," carved into a 16-foot-long block of pink limestone. In front of me was a sea of black hair and white fabric. A man in iguana-colored boots was a private parade. The air was damp and smelled like salty sediment. A sandpiper coughed into my ear. In prior decades, this would have been a confined testing environment stacked with medical supplies and sterilized instruments, while bleached cotton strips turned the skin around my nails lighter. Pried out of the wilderness of incestuous dreams, ripped posters, and unreliable oral histories. Deer curled up in sandy, shallow puddles, trails of red ants eating holes through discarded cabbage. Soft green eyes on dress uniforms before entrance into a former Methodist church with baby blue walls and royal blue sacristy doors. Reptile eggs eaten by a small group of women who then wash their hands in citrus-saturated water and wrap their fingers with copper wire. And a monument at dusk surrounded by silence, outlined with jagged stones and chipped jewelry. Fox hunters riding by, with a new hound who they yell at and threaten to whip as each of its tentative selections are rejected. The Lord Mayor's houses built to buttress against resistant forces, all amid a slow, swollen syrup that pools and then runs downhill to the man-made lake. Unobstructed view and pristine wings, piercing siren as though it was a current or a call to worship. A chalice filled with tarantulas, a flagpole wavering in its stand, chickens' eyes rolling sideways as they travel at unnatural speeds for the very first time. Cigarette smoke blown into a bowl of strawberries, fingerprints left in wet paint, fresh milk pumped from each breast. My friend, who can foresee pregnancy and electricity through a wall, has their moods move like montages in a film. My friend, without terminology, whose nature is a catapult, who can walk through a maze without a fever. My friend who finds destiny dancing on purple and pink nights with dirt around their ankles. From the upper window, I witnessed a slow splintering of demonic demonstrations. In my right hand were coins melted together. On my feet were shoes of another, as I checked the tags on my clothes to learn my identity. Through the upper window, across 7 streets into the parking lot, where disused missiles decompose, diagonal gold and gray roads sprayed clean of tar and debris. Low-flying planes obscure the upper window, where a virginity pageant marches from the shower and concludes with forearms rested on the top rung of a ladder. Breathless dizziness, reading large handmade maps, desperate for hydrogen, dull bulbs and shovels, eyes closed for hours. All deaths are a cataclysm. Rinse the plaque from your mouth. Cut long muslin swaths and give them away. Bring out your dead! All deaths are a cataclysm. Rinse the cement. Don't try to trace ghosts. Bring out your dead! All deaths are a cataclysm, and what stands are bloody trees deciphering the wordless moans. The invisible dust falling on a table in the woods is swept away in haste. The invisible dust falling on a chain-link fence at the border, wafted away before it rusts. The invisible threads woven around nurses' legs while administering instructions to infants. The invisible threads coursing through fibrous recall. Innocence is wasted on the inexperienced. Each speck is an unnoticed city, an English symmetrical opening. Each strand is a bird on the river in a king's Indian defense. Wax seal stamps poured onto a clock while its mechanisms start surging. Go into the unpaved adjacent highways and remember. Remember for the benefit of whom? The sermon restated to sleeping citizens weary from work. Remember for the benefit of whom? A lion in a tent gnashing the last of its dinner. Remember for the benefit of whom? A slouching, passive general inept at telling a catalog from blueprints. Protective exoskeleton, exclusive phone booth opposite the swimming pool in a home in Beverly Hills constructed in the late 40s. Watery exoskeleton, fluttering drama as the mounted trophies change colors when passing trains sound their whistles. Sensory exoskeleton in parks of dewy, gently curved hills designed by anxious architects to absorb all tastes and scents. No one reaction or army of thought, no weaning or well-meaning practice can smudge or even expunge the unadorned evidence in the immeasurable elements. And now a grasp toward a cataract of menstruation stored in a triptych of cases. Tender veils lift lightly in the breeze, briefly betraying the horse's forward focus. Confirmed miracles in the dial tones droning from underneath the unexplored aisles. A cherry, a maiden, a cup. And I lay down for now, hopeful the parcels I sent arrive on time. Called Remember. Just 200 miles from where I used to live were the lakes and legends, afternoons crawling the canal, running in circles, scaling fences. Coming home curfewless, lying in bed, stretching your arms out in front of your face, fingers making shapes out of the light, album covers on the wall next to calendars with modern art. Do you remember when we used to work together? We went to the swimming pool and recorded the sounds of kids laughing, splashing around, to use in a sound collage. and those kids are grown up now. We went to the quarry and watched the slabs of rocks being trucked away. We'd stay and talk until the time silenced our throats. Those rocks are buildings now. Do you remember when we used to work together? We used to never worry about money, only if there was enough to have fun for the week. Sometimes I think we can be there again. The band played No Side to Fall In, and you clapped and sang along. I used the same words the next night, and you said I was wrong. Do you remember when we used to work together? Standing in your mom's house, her pizza cooling in the kitchen, your hair and clothes a ragged curtain, playing your blue Ibanez guitar, glorious crystalline shards. You asked me to write a brass score. I figured it couldn't be that hard. Do you remember when we used to work together? It's called Microwave Blues. Why would you want to burn down your house and pretend it doesn't exist? The cliche about house and home, and neither one is your own. It's a waste of time to spend your life deconstructing why you're bored, and you can't find the beauty in traffic signs, committing a felony when you find out your belongings have been repossessed. When I heard what was said, I didn't even want a personality. It's even worse than reading Victorian erotica. Scrambled eggs for breakfast and the nonsense front page, enough to make a man one step past cynical, or at least weird enough to make his day job seem sensible. Why do you want to burn down your house, even though I've been told that you kiss like a blood clot? There's got to be something at the end of the night to keep you waking up the next morning. The lighted sign of Texaco and the plastic Jesus in the hallway. There's a moral to every story, even if you spend your time figuring out what it is, an echo of light, nearly blind. Somewhere in the back of your hindsight is an inkling of communication that says you want to be in control, and of course there's nothing wrong with that, except if you get in anyone's way. Because you, like me or anyone else, doesn't mind criticism as long as they're being hailed as a genius by some kind of socialite they usually refer to as a friend. It's called 1001. I was traveling across Missouri, and I saw the floods. The water waved like eyelids draped over the heavens. I came to the caverns and lit a fire. I left a drawing of my own, an elephant with a broken back. A 6-year-old cracked some sticks and made a puddle of wine. In the fog hovered the pestilence, dusted with cicada wings and bats. The cockroaches had incisors and ate a meal of matchsticks. I met the mayor. We watched a lunch line kick a dog. We stole light bulbs from a factory. We wrote a novel and a play, and then we burned all of it. Let me tell you about starving and lust in your mouth, because I never missed a meal and I won't start now. I've never seen that many rodents migrating south, and 10,000 blood vessels turn inside out, and 20 boats capsize, and a Chinese dragon get caught in an updraft, windshields and storefronts snapping in half. On the battlefield, none of this is real. My hands have been sliced open. With leather and steel, rivulets of blood and dirt cover my scabs and wounds. I spun on my heels and I look around at the land. I was surrounded by dead bodies. I had to believe that this wasn't part of the plan. So I threw down my gun and I yelled at the sky. And I said, God, you bring whatever hell you want to on me, because I'm not afraid to die. And the earth's rotation sped up, and I cried out, Hallelujah! And I saw squirrels and worms clinging to the dirt, almost paralyzed, and cannons started flying forward, and lightning blinded my eyes, and I saw the door on either side, but I was not terrified. I saw the path that I had to take for the rest of my life. Lightning projected onto an infinite expanse of space. Every instinct played without fear of fate, an imperceptible mist keeping me awake. Blue air, blue skies, blue land, radium and spring water, holding reservoirs in my hands. And then I come to, with my brother standing over my face, crying because he thought I was gone. And I bolted upright and using his shoulder, leapt to my feet, and I ran away hollering, Will there be liberty or judgment? Or are you going to look for a drink in a dry riverbed? Do you want to be cleansed in dusty rocks? Try to wrangle yourself out of chains and just get encrusted in flakes of rust? That man over there don't care what happens to you or who you pledge your duty to. Will you toil in drudgery when honor and dignity stop you from crawling? Will you accept death's sting and impassively function like a ghost, like a legging on the Great Spirit? Or will you cast off this burden, this bondage, and find joy in better things? Death, I take the trumpet from your mouth. Death, I will water out your sound. I puncture your drum. I will not march, and I will not watch. The fear overcomes me, but I shall not succumb. I will continue to laugh. Death, you will not seize my spirit while I sleep. I will stand victorious over your sarcophagus and bury it in Stickney. I will use my will at your most evil. I will starve instead of choking on your cattle. I will not keep any secrets, and I will stand as I am. In the front of the market, cars were floating away. Wind was fiercely blowing. The flags were hoisted. Faces filled with roiling rage. An ambulance sped by. A deer was tied to the top. The school nurse broke through the front door, used her hands to dig into the ground, then emptied the contents of her purse out. She fled hysterically. Searchlights pierced the day. Sirens were silenced. Buzzing mutated into stillness. Birds gathered in small circles. The trees and roads looked sore. People's chests and arms bruised. I saw a signal from the window and took a picture for proof. I counted the change in my pocket. I remembered Tony and Mima's phone number. I was a boy, and they couldn't get me off the swings, and now I can fly, so I never stop. I always would wish to observe overhead, weightless, straightforward, irresponsible, endless, adroit, fast, far above, picking out the doves from the seagulls. And I wonder who will fall for fuel and travel to another coast in a nameless group and export a bullfrog to the mountains and sell paper from their patio and cancel the credit of the branch vice president and kick a Honda in the grill and pluck staccato strings for their score and steal toothbrushes from CVS and spread their legs for the solution and hang naked from a tree in Ibiza and write a slogan that fits on my arm. Darling Darlene, the loveliest woman that she's ever seen, writing down her customs that she'll barely read. This is called Honeybee 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. like a coral pink butterfly heading to me. You're looking through your jeweled eyes, and I'm waiting for your surprise. A birthday card, an aquarium hung on the wall, a memory in a vein swimming around, arriving late to hear a favorite song, flying like a honeybee that counts the flap of its wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keeping everything else alive. Bubbles on the honeycomb coming together in unusually warm weather. Honeybee, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, keeping everything else alive. And this, of course, is always, all the time. Now then! The present is in the future. History is present. The future is present. The present is present. And history is history. And we see the future push to the foreground wonderfully. All three, you and me. And as a wonderful woman named Diane once said, I hope our future is like flying birds. The weather is in the sea, gravityless moment caught, dotted with cherry trees and colored pencils. There's very little in life that matches what I feel when you smile back at what I've whispered to you. We're in the room and out of nowhere, looking at the inlet together in letters and circles, like a slit in the curtain, like a fluttering bird ready to bathe, like an oxidized copper fountain. I want to be with you, always, all the time, like a white shirt with a fresh grass stain, like a street light breathing air, like waving from the top of a ladder. You plan all the plans, always, all the time, like a strawberry on the counter, like fingernails washed clean, like a bee being curious of a new flower. You are adorable, always, all the time, like pickled ginger on salmon, like a workbench in the sun, like an invention. Imagine we are here with each other, always, all the time, like a cat cornering a grasshopper, like a licked stamp pressed with a thumb, like a rectangle with unbroken corners. You are mine, I am yours, always, all time. It's called Miss You in the Morning. The flashlight on the stove is the first thing I see after I put on my glasses, and then I feel how much I miss you in the morning. I ate breakfast and brushed my teeth, wishing that you didn't have to leave for work before me. Little things you say and do go around in my head while I'm pretending to pay attention to what a coworker is saying to me while I'm getting coffee, and I am fully aware of just how much I miss you in the morning. But it's only a few more hours until we get to be together every evening and be near every day. Each and every day. And this is this will be the last piece of the night, and this is excuse me. I've said this before, but it's true. It's this is about being about the burden of being God's chosen vessel. Is that arrogant? This the channel this is broadcast on, of course, is Arc Technologies, and this quotes the titular Van Ark himself. So. One of my favorite lines of his when he does his Larry Graham impression. The quote, of course, is, it's the apex of manifestation, which is brilliant. So, this is called White Cello. Take the white envelope next to your right hand. Give it to me. Talk to me. I'm in the open window. I'm not in time, but I've got your watch, and I need to learn to play this white cello. Scratch the surface. I'm on the shore with a can of sugar. It's never bitter, and I'd really rather be playing, though, because I like the white strings and the white bow. That's not her. That's her, was the simplest thing you said today. I'm still reeling with no moments except now. You don't possess any microscope, so I will take the telescope. I'm trying to be angelic, which isn't easy after getting desensitized with disappointments, every night eating fresh vegetables, but planning, you already know, and then you talk me out of it. You don't have a pistol in your waistcoat, your teeth aren't flecked with flax seeds, my misjudgments are my own, and most are unknown. But just because I'm a pacifist doesn't fucking mean that I'll just let anyone abuse me. And speaking of myself, notice me! I'm standing next to the tree where the guy crashed the car and got out and ran for it. But I can behave for over 100 days, and I've squandered my efforts and so much goodwill that I sometimes still need to convince myself that I should try to take lessons and learn how to play it all. But I'm sure that you want me to, and I know what I can do. And with that, we're not missing anything. We're humming songs through the phone. We're holy rollers without a religion. We're midnight movers. No, we're not. And don't be the guy on the bike in the right lane racing for his life against rush hour traffic in the morning. I know you are, and you know that I care, and I feel like I'm Clark Kent just dressed up in primary colors, and I haven't taken off my glasses yet. And she said to me, as long as it's not evil. And I said to her, I cannot be evil, certainly not right now. But it's the rising sun, it's a hard-boiled egg, it's basil, it's a blue charm. I just want to play the white cello. I just want to sit in a circle and think about it some more. So are we going to wrap this up, or are we just going to test people's patience? No, I'm thinking out loud. It's warm communication now. Brother, you see what I'm talking about? So we're going to change some channels. Quarters, nickels, and all sunbathers must be wearing a blue suit. You go to the slants and cut off your slants. It'll be like a reverse safari where they put lions, cheetahs, and tigers in a truck and drive them around and show them people pumping gas and walking down the street. It'll be the apex of manifestation. It'll be the apex of manifestation. It won't be in the Bible, but it'll be like the Bible. Or it'll be a suburban safari where some guy named Greg gives you a little pith helmet and plastic binoculars, and you wait under his kitchen table for the cat to use the litter box. But why does it gotta be white? Never heard from before. Advertising space available. Clean, clear water. And of course, the tastiest tomatoes. All right. And that is it, folks. I am Richard Millett. This has been the quarantine stream, and let us wrap up one more time with the quarantine stream theme. Huh? Here we go. Oh, beautiful. All right. So, by the grace of God, we will be back here next week. Until then, of course, stay safe, stay smart, and stay free, because you already are. Yes. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed it. Oh, cheap plug time. Of course, fluxlifeinc.com. For all my books and films. And you have endless hours of entertainment and content to go through. All right. I think it's time to wrap this up. Have a wonderful week, like I said. By the grace of God, we will be back next week. So until then, goodbye.